Pag-uusapan po natin ang Book of Genesis. Understanding the Book of Genesis. So sa ating timeline ay ang Genesis ay part naman ito sa time past. Part sa time past, and under the but now naman ay mga believers, tinatawag church, the body of Christ. And then meron tayong ages to come doon sa timeline natin, Hebrews to Revelation. So yung mga books under the ages to come, Hebrews to Revelation. And then yung mga books under the time past, start from Genesis to the book of John. And then yung first part ng book of Acts. And then yung mga books under the But Now program ay Romans to Philemon. And then yung part ng last part ng book of Acts. Ayan, so dito po ay marami tayong matutunan din bilang review kung ano ang nilalaman ng Book of Genesis. So gagawin lang din po natin ay summary lang din, kasi meron tayong mga separate din na pag-aaral, chapter by chapter na pag-aaral kung matapos natin na pag-uusapan ang buong Biblia, book by book. So kung pag-uusapan po natin ang author ng Genesis, ay actually traditionally si Moses ang talagang nai-recommend na siya yung author. Kaya mayroong iba, paano niya na isinulat na si Moses ay ipinanganak sa Exodus. At syempre, alam naman natin na ang Panginoon ay kanyang inireveal kay Moses at isinulat niya yung kung ano ang nangyayari sa Genesis. Kung pag-usapan din natin yung date of writing, the book of Genesis does not state when it was written. So wala po talagang yung exact na date kung pag-uusapan ang date of writing. So the date of authorship is likely between 1440 and 1400 BC. Between the time Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt and his death. So ito po ay hindi talaga accurate na date. Ito ay approximate lang po ayon sa mga Bible scholars. At ang purpose naman ng pagkasulat ng Genesis, the book of Genesis has sometimes been called the seed plot of the entire Bible. Ayon sa mga Bible scholars, ito po ang kanilang interpretation or tawag na ang Book of Genesis, the seed plot of the entire Bible. Most of the major doctrines in the Bible are introduced in seed form in the Book of Genesis. So ito ay ayon sa mga scholars. In Genesis 3:15, along with the fall of man, God's promise of salvation or redemption is recorded. So ito po ang tinatawag na first prophecy patungkol sa Redeemer, na nung nagkasala ang tao, ang mayroon ng propesya, promise of salvation or redemption na naka-record. So the doctrines of creation, imputation of sin. Ayan, the doctrines of creation, the imputation of sin, justification, the atonement, depravity, wrath, grace, sovereignty, responsibility, and many more are all addressed in this book of origins called Genesis. So ibig sabihin may mga na-mention patungkol po dito na naka-record sa Book of Genesis. So many of the great questions of life are answered in Genesis. Halimbawa, in Genesis 1:1, where did I come from and God created us? In Genesis 15:6, why am I here? We are here to have a relationship with God. And then another question, Genesis 25:8, where am I going? We have a destination after death. So doon pa lang sa Genesis ay may mga question na pwedeng masagot gamit ang Book of Genesis. So Genesis is appeals to the scientist, the historian, the theologian, the housewife, the farmer, the traveler, and the man or woman of God. So doon din natin malalaman sa Book of Genesis pa rin. Kaya pala ang Book of Genesis ay tinatawag na Book of Beginning. Beginning, lahat nandun. Okay, nandun sa Book of Genesis. So it is a fitting beginning for God's story of His plan for mankind, the Bible. Yan, kaya pala mahalaga ang Genesis na maunawaan natin, kasi kung pag-uusapan natin yung beginning, nandoon po. Sa creation, nandun. Ayan. Lahat. Ano ang mga key verses? Genesis 1:1, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Yun yung key verses. Kasama dito ang Genesis chapter 3 verse 15. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers. He will crush your head and you will strike his heel. Ayan po yung prophecy. Promise ng Panginoon tungkol sa Redeemer nung ang tao ay nagkasala. And then, isa pa sa mga key verses, yung Genesis 12:2-3, I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you, I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing, and I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. And all peoples on earth will be blessed through you. So, dito, ito yung tinatawag na Abrahamic Covenant. Ang ibang bansa ma-bless through Israel. So, ang channel of blessing ay ang Israel. Ang Gentiles ma-bless through the Israelites. Then, yung Genesis 50:20. Yan, kasama din ito sa key verses. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. Ito yung Muslim ginagamit, di ba? But God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. Ito ay patungkol kay Joseph na, di ba, alam naman natin yung nangyari kay Joseph nung napunta siya sa Egypt. Ang Panginoon mayroong purpose, at ito nga, at mostly ginagamit din ito na sinasabing you intended to harm me but God intended it for good to accomplish. So applying a dispensational right division ay hindi po ganon ang i-apply mo, dahil unang-una ito ay na-mention sa time ni Joseph. So the book of Genesis can be divided into two sections. The primitive history and patriarchal history. So ano ba yung primitive history records? Ito po. Una, the creation. Genesis chapters 1 and 2. Next, in Genesis chapters 3-5, the fall of man. And then Genesis chapters 6-9, the flood. And then Genesis chapters 10-11, the dispersion. Then another is the patriarchal history records the lives of 4 great men. In Genesis chapter 12 to chapter to chapter 25 verse 8, Abraham. And then in Genesis chapter 21 verses 1 to 35 to chapter 29, Isaac. And then Genesis 25 21 to chapter 50 verse 14, Jacob. And then Genesis chapter 30 to 22 to chapter 50 to 26, Joseph. Ayan po yung tinatawag na patriarchal history. So pag sinasabi nating patriarchs ay start kay Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph. Yun yung tinatawag na patriarchs or forefathers na tinatawag para sa bayang Israel. God created a universe that was good and free from sin. And God created humanity to have a personal relationship with Him. So, ang una, God created universe. Okay, kaya nga doon sa Genesis 1:1, God created heaven and earth. And then, later on, God created humanity to have a personal relationship with Him. And Adam and Eve sinned and thereby brought evil and death into the world. So, ganun po yung sequence. May magandang plano ang Panginoon, pero hindi nasunod yung plano nung pumasok ang kasalanan sa mundo sa pamagitan ng evil. Kaya nagkakaroon ng problem. Pero wala pong tinatawag na recreation or reformation or renovation. So wala po ang mundo natin nung create, yun pa rin. Hindi po siya nag-repair or nag-restore dahil nasira. Dahil mayroong mga teaching na restoration dahil yung original creation ayon sa kanila ay nasira at ang dahilan ay si Satanas nung siya'y na ibinagsak dito sa mundo, kaya dahilan na nasira yung unang creation ng Panginoon. At hindi po yan ang turo ng Biblia na may ang Panginoon ay gumawa or nag-restore siya sa nasira. Wala pong gap theory sa Bible na ang Genesis 1 at saka yung 2 ay mayroong millions or thousands of years ng gap bago ang verse 2. So wala pong ganon. Ang verse 1 sa Genesis, ito ay ipinapakita doon yung complete creation ng Panginoon. Genesis 1:1, God created the heaven and the earth. Kompleto. So the following verses ay explanation na lang kung papaano nilikha ng Panginoon ang verse 1. Paano niya nilikha ang heaven and earth. So the following verses, explanation lamang. Okay? Walang gap theory, kundi yung verse 2 to the following verses sa Genesis chapter 1 ay lahat explanation kung papaano nilikha ng ating Panginoon ang langit at ang lupa. Ayan. At paano nilikha din ang tao? Nandun lahat. In-explain. So, walang restoration, walang recreation na nangyari. Kaya, ito ay ginagawa or pinaniniwalaan ng iba na mayroong gap theory. Ulitin ko po, hindi turo ng Biblia ang gap theory. Walang gap between verse 1 ng Genesis and verse 2 na mayroong millions or thousands of years. Ang iba naman, ito'y kinunklo dahil daw sa mga na-discover na mga fossils, mga bones na na-discover nila, na ayon sa kanila, ito yung mga dinosaur. Ayon sa kanilang examination, para patunayan nila na ang mundo natin ay millions or thousands of years gamit doon sa mga na-discover po nila. At ang ginagamit nilang material or yung machine or ginagamit nila to calculate ay ang tinatawag carbon data. Na pag i-test yung isang na-discover na bagay ay papalabasin doon na kung ilang taon ang kanilang na-discover na bagay. At ayon sa kanilang discovery, sa fossil testing, umabot daw ng thousands, millions of years. Kaya, kinunclude ng ibang mga scholars na ang mundo natin ay millions of years. At para masettle, naglagay na lang sila ng gap doon sa verse 1 and verse 2. In between, mayroong millions of years. Bakit nila ginawa yon? Para masettle. Ayan, gumawa sila ng gap doon para masettle, ma-connect nila doon sa kanilang na-discover na bagay. Ayan. So, wala pong ganon. At isa pa na mga pinaniniwalaan na si Adan ay hindi daw unang nilikha ng Panginoon. Mayroon pa daw ibang tao na nilikha maliban kay Adan. Wala pong ganon. Hindi yan pinatunayan ng Biblia na mayroong iba pa na nilikha ang Panginoon maliban kay Adan. Ulitin ko po, ang nilikha ng Panginoon na una ay si Adan. Ang kanilang point of argument dito po sa Genesis chapter 1, dito sa chapter 1, 26 to 27, and God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." 27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. So ang kanilang argument, dahil dito daw sa chapter 1 ay nilikha ng Panginoon ay male and female. Dito sa chapter 2 daw, kaya ang kanilang arguments na hindi lang si Adan ang una, kasi sa chapter 1 ay ang Panginoon nag-create, then sa chapter 2, nag-create din siya. Sa verse 7, "And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul." Ayan, so ayon sa mga naniniwala ng gap theory, ay mayroong dalawang creation na nangyari. Hindi lang si Adan ang nilikha, kundi mayroon pa, dahil sa na-mention sa chapter 1. Ito pong tandaan natin, ang chapter 1, ulitin ko, doon ipinapakita ang paglikha ng Panginoon. Then, chapter 2, in-explain naman kung paano nilikha ng Panginoon ang tao. So, chapter 2 ay explanation doon sa chapter 1 kung papaano niya nilikha ang tao. Wala pong ibang nilikha ang Panginoon maliban kay Adan. Chapter 2 ay ini-explain in detailed kung papaano niya nilikha ang man. Ito, paano niya nilikha ang man? And the Lord God formed a man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. And then yung female, paano niya nilikha? Dito naman sa verse 21, and the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And 22, and the rib which the Lord God had taken from man, made he a woman, and brought her unto man. So, ulitin ko po, in-explain, dito sa chapter 1, ay pagtitignan mo sabay, male and female. Pero nung in-explain na kung papaano, hindi sabay. Nauna ang man, and then, later on, the woman. So, wala pong unang nilikha ang Panginoon maliban kay Adan. Siya po ang first. Wala pong nauna sa kanya. Okay? So, ganun po. Kaya sa Genesis, doon natin malalaman din kung papaano nagsimula. So, kailangan lang aralin. Ayan. And then, proceed. Evil increase. Nung nagkasala, ito po ang nangyari. Nagkaresulta, mas dumami ang mga masama. Yan, until there was only one family in which God found anything good. At yun nga, ang pamilya ni Noah. So, ganun po. God sent the flood to wipe out evil, but delivered Noah and his family along with the animals in the ark. And after the flood, humanity began again to multiply and spread throughout the world. So ito naman ay sa generation na ni Noah. Yung generation ni Adam ay hanggang doon lang sa flood. Okay, hanggang doon sa flood. And after the flood, yung generation na ni Noah. Ayan. God chose Abraham, through whom he would create a chosen people and eventually the promised Messiah. So after naman sa confusion of tongues, kasi ang nangyayari po, mayroong command ang Panginoon kay Noah, pero hindi rin nasunod. Doon sa chapter 11, ang nangyari po sa generation ni Noah ay nandoon lang sila sa isang lugar, pero ang command ng Panginoon to replenish the earth and subdue it. Ang nangyari ay nanatili sila sa isang lugar, gumawa sila ng tore na ang hangarin nila ay abutin ang langit. Pero hindi yan ang plano ng Panginoon, kaya ito ay kanyang dinivide ang lingwahe, and then nung dumami yung dialect, hindi sila magkakasundo, kaya kanya-kanya silang pumunta sa gusto nilang lugar. At doon din nag-start ang maraming dialect doon sa chapter 11 ng Genesis. Dahil before the confusion of tongues, mayroon pong isang dialect lang sila. Dito sa chapter 11 ng Genesis, and the whole earth was of one language, isa lang, and of one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said unto one another, Go to, let us make brick, and burn them truly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they said, Go to, let us build us a city, and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the earth. So ang nais nila, para hindi na sila magkawatak-watak, dito na lang tayo sa isang lugar. Pero hindi yan ang plano ng Panginoon. So number 5, and the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. 7, Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. And then 8, So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Ayan. So dito po ay malinaw na na-divide ang kanilang dialect. So dito nag-start na mayroon tayong iba't ibang dialect, iba't ibang lengguwahe, dahil dinivide ng Panginoon para ma-scattered at pupunta ang mga tao sa gusto nilang puntahan dito sa mundo. Kasi ang plano ng Panginoon, ang tao ay mag-multiply and replenish the earth. So ang ginawa ng Panginoon, dinivide niya ang kanilang dialect, ginawa niyang maraming dialect, at ganun po ang nangyayari. Hindi natuloy yung hangarin, dinidesire, plano ng tao na magkakaisa o doon lang sila sa isang lugar para hindi na daw sila ma-scattered. Pero since na ang utos ng Panginoon ay replenish the earth and subdue it. So yun po sa chapter 11. Then, after that, pumili na ang Panginoon ng isang tao dito sa chapter 12. Ayan, God chose Abraham, through whom He would create a chosen people and eventually the promised Messiah. So, Abraham, nangako ang Panginoon kay Abraham at doon din siya pumili ng tao or group of people, yung Israel, and then doon din lalabas ang promised Messiah. So the chosen line was passed on to Abraham's son, Isaac, and then to Isaac's sons, Jacob. So ganun na po ang plan ng Panginoon. So nag-start kay Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and then Jacob to the 12 tribes, and then tuloy-tuloy na doon hanggang dumating yung Mesias. God changed Jacob's name to Israel, and his 12 sons became the ancestors of the 12 tribes of Israel. So yun na po yung kwento. Start kay Abraham, more on Israel nang pinag-uusapan. Kasi yun yung programa na ng Panginoon. Sunod-sunod na po yan. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the 12 tribes. Ayan. And his sovereignty, God had Jacob's son Joseph and then sent to Egypt by the despicable actions of Joseph's brothers. So this act intended for evil by the brothers and was intended for good by God, and eventually resulted in Jacob and his family being saved from a devastating famine by Joseph, who had risen to great power in Egypt. So ganun po ang ginawa ng Panginoon, na parang pagtitignan natin ay hindi maganda yung ginawa ng kanyang mga kapatid kay Joseph, pero ang ginawa naman ng Panginoon, yung ginawa niyang kabutihan para sa lahat, sa kanilang pamilya, lahat yung nangyari kay Joseph. Kung titignan natin yung shadow Okay? Many New Testament themes have their roots in Genesis. So marami pong ganun sa bumabalik doon sa Genesis. Jesus Christ is the seed of the woman who will destroy the Satan's power in Genesis chapter 3 verse 15. As with Joseph, God's plan for the good of mankind through the sacrifice of His Son was intended for good, even though those who crucified Jesus intended it for evil. So yun yung tinatawag foreshadow, yung nangyari kay Joseph at yung ginawa ng ating Panginoong Hesus ay mayroong tinatawag na shadow. And Noah and his family are the first of many remnants pictured in the Bible. Despite overwhelming odds and difficult circumstances, God always preserves a remnant of the faithful for Himself. Yan, kasi ang Panginoon mayroon po siyang plano, kaya ang plano niya ay ipinangako niya, isinabi niya kay Abraham yung plano na doon sa kanyang lahi ma-fulfilled ang kanyang plano, ang bayang Israel. So the remnant of Israelites returned to Jerusalem after the Babylonian captivity. So 'di ba ang nangyari nga ang bayang Israel dahil hindi sila sumunod sa programa ng ating Panginoon, hindi nila pinaniniwalaan ang propeta ng Panginoon, kaya ang Panginoon nagdeklara ng captivity. Kaya na-captive ang pinili ng Panginoon sa Babylon 70 years. Okay? 70 years. Kaya the remnant of Israelites returned to Jerusalem after the Babylonian captivity. Ibig sabihin, after 70 years captivity, pinabalik sila doon sa kanilang lupain sa Jerusalem at i-rebuild yung sinira ng king of Babylon. So God preserved a remnant through all the persecutions described in Isaiah and Jeremiah, and a remnant of 7,000 priests were hidden from the wrath of Jezebel, and God promises that a remnant of Jews will one day embrace their true Messiah. Kaya yung na-mention sa Romans 11, yung mga remnant, kaya pagdating ng tribulation, mga remnant yung nandun, and then sa millennium, yung mga makakapasok doon sa millennium na physical, sila yung mga tinatawag na remnant, believing Israel. So the faith displayed by Abraham would be the gift of God and the basis of salvation for both Jews and Gentiles. Ito naman under the But Now program. Okay, under the But Now program in Ephesians 2:8 and 9 ay salvation offered both Jews and Gentiles. Ito ba ay part sa programa ng Panginoon sa bayang Israel or part doon sa kanyang earthly program? Hindi po. Ito ay a program, a separate program, a mystery program revealed to and through Paul, na ang Jews and Gentiles pinagsama at ginawang isang bayan. Ayan. Then the overriding theme of Genesis is God's eternal existence and His creation of the world. So there's no efforts on the part of the author to defend that existence of God. He simply states that God is always was and always will be almighty over all. So in the same way, we have confidence in the truths of Genesis despite the claims of those who would deny them. Doon pa lang sa Genesis ay marami tayong matutunan doon regarding sa creation ng ating Panginoon, kahit ito'y hindi pinaniniwalaan ng iba, pero malinaw na ang mga bagay dumating, nangyayari dahil mayroong creator. Ayan, mayroong creator. All people, regardless of culture, nationality, or language, are accountable to the Creator. Na karamihan ay hindi ni-recognize na mayroong God, mayroong Creator. Ayan. But because of sin introduced into the world at the fall, we are separated from Him. So, ang nangyayari po, dahil sa kasalanan, ang tao'y separated from God. Pero ang Panginoon ay gumawa ng paraan. But through one small nation, referring to Israel, God's redemptive plan for mankind was revealed and made available to all. So dito po ay ang Israel ay ginamit na instrument para lahat din ay maligtas sa pamamagitan ng Israel. Ibig sabihin, ang Israel ay nagiging channel ng kaligtasan ng ibang bansa or sa mga Gentiles. Ito po ay under the Abrahamic Covenant. Under our time, hindi po ganon ang plano dahil Jews and Gentiles alike. So, hindi nakadepende sa Israel ang kaligtasan ng mga Hintel under the dispensation of grace. Pero under the Time Pass program, ang kaligtasan ng mga Hintel ay nakadepende lamang po sa Israel at hanggang maranasan din during the Great Tribulation na ang salvation ng mga Gentiles nakadepende sa Israel, and then sa millennium para mabless ang mga Hintel nakadepende sa bayang Israel. Kung ikumpara natin sa panahon natin ngayon, ang kaligtasan ng tao ay hindi nakadepende sa bayang Israel, kundi sa paniniwala natin sa ginawa ng ating Panginoong Hesus sa cross, na ito ay tinatawag na the Gospel of Grace. God created the universe, the earth, and every living being. And we can trust Him to handle the concerns in our lives. God can take a hopeless situation, Abraham and Sarah being childless, and do amazing things if we will simply trust and obey. Yan yung mga example na makikita natin paano nag-work ang Panginoon miraculously during that time. And terribly and unjust things may happen in our lives as with Joseph, but God will always bring about a greater good if we have faith in Him and His sovereign plan. Kaya yung mga Israelites, kung mapansin nyo, ganun ang ginawa ng ating Panginoon. May mga tinatawag na condition. Okay, may mga condition na dapat silang gagawin at ito'y mangyayari kung i-perform nila. And we know that all things work together. Ito naman yung sinabi ni Apostle Paul sa Romans chapter 8:28 na ito na mayroong lesson, good lesson para sa atin, And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to His purpose. So the book of Genesis is the first book of the Bible and opens with one of the most famous first sentence of any literary work, in the beginning. So God created the heavens and the earth, and it's where we find the famous stories of Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel, Noah and the ark, Abraham and Isaac, and a well-dressed dreamer named Joseph. Mostly ganun ang napapakinggan or nagiging familiar sa atin itong mga Bible character. So on its own, the book of Genesis reads like a string of epic stories, a semi-tragic saga of a world that just keeps going wrong despite its creator's intentions. But Genesis isn't a standalone book. It's the first installment in the 5-part Torah, or the Pentateuch, which is the foundational work of the Old Testament. So the Torah is Israel's origin story. Torah. And it's the story of how the nation of Israel got its population, its land, and its religion. Kaya yung Torah ay more on focusing doon sa Israel, sa kanilang possession, and then sa kanilang religion. Ano naman ang mga mai-consider natin mga characters? So in Genesis is the second longest book of the Bible after Jeremiah. Diba yung Jeremiah ay halos ganun din sa book of Genesis? That means there are a lot of characters in Genesis. If you want to look at the most mentioned characters in Genesis, marami tayong makikita. Marami tayong mga malalaman doon sa book na yon. Yung when it comes of generation, nandoon. Generation to generation. And then isa pa na pinag-uusapan ay yung God, the creator of heaven and earth, including the humans, Adam and Eve. God makes all things very good. But when both humans and divine beings rebel against God, the world slips back into chaos. Ganun po ang isang nangyari o naging resulta dahil sa kasalanan. Pero originally, create niyang good, pero dahil sa kasalanan ay nabago yung kanyang tingin. Ang mundo natin ay chaos actually because of sin. So the humans rebel against God, bringing a curse of the world and growing so violent that God destroys everyone but Noah and his family. Ano pong nangyari? Sila ay saved. Pero pinarusahan ng ating Panginoon yung generation na makasalanan. Dito po sa Genesis chapter 6, ito po ang nangyari. Verse 5, and God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually, and it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And then verse 7, and the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and a creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Ayan po ang nangyari, pinarusahan ng ating Panginoon yung mga makasalanan. Okay? So the word repented here, mentioned in chapter 6 verse 6, ay hindi po ito nag-repent ayon doon sa definition natin na ang Panginoon ay nagsisi. Hindi po, siya'y nalungkot. Ang ginamit po dito is ang Panginoon ay nalungkot sa ginawa ng tao. So, ganun po. Kaya, sa pamagitan ng flood, yung generation ni Noah ay nawala. Generation ni Adam ay nawala. And then, isang pamilya lamang ang naligtas. Kaya, after the flood, another generation. At ang generation after the flood ay galing na kay Noah. And God is still at work to bring the world back to very good status again, and chooses to begin this work through a man God names Abraham. Ganun po, para maging maayos na naman, hindi na chaos because of sin. Ito sa pamagitan ng Abraham ay maging maayos, maibalik sa maayos ang mundo or yung creation na maging maayos. Pero ito po ay matagal pa. Bakit? Kasi mangyayari lamang ito pagbalik ng ating Panginoon. Pero ito ay ipinangako, kaya sa seed ni Abraham na mention, sa seed ni Abraham referring to the Lord Jesus Christ. So ibig sabihin, maibalik lamang ang dating estado sa pamamagitan ng Panginoon pag siya'y maghahari. Bakit na-mention si Abraham? Yes, dahil si Jesus Christ ay manggagaling din sa seed of Abraham. Abraham, formerly Abraham, sa Mesopotamian, who God chooses as the patriarch of a special nation, referring to Israel. Abraham journeys through the land of Canaan, which God promises to give to Abraham's descendants. So para kanino ang promised land or yung Canaan? Para sa descendants ni Abraham, yung mga Israel. So ang Canaan ay design para sa bayang Israel dahil yun ang pangako ng ating Panginoon kay Abraham. God makes a covenant, an special binding agreement. Mayroong agreement ang Panginoon kay Abraham, kaya talagang ito'y mangyayari. With Abraham, which is where Israel's story as a nation truly begins. Start kay Abraham. Yan lahat. Kaya kahit anuman ang nangyayari, kahit yung mga Israelites ay hindi sumunod, sila'y sumuway sa plano ng Panginoon, since mayroong pangako, mayroong agreement, ay talagang sila'y maibabalik. Okay, hindi katulad noon na wala pang agreement, pag nagkasala, that time ay mayroong punishment. Katulad ng generation ni Adam, ay inabolish lahat yon dahil lahat makasalanan. Pero nung ang Panginoon ay nagkaroon ng binding agreement, nagkaroon ng agreement with Abraham, na kahit itong Israelites ay masasama, mga Israelites ay hindi sumunod, since mayroong agreement ang Panginoon kay Abraham with God, ay talagang ito'y ginagawa ng paraan or ang gumawa ng paraan para ang Israel ay mananatili. How about Jacob na naging Israel? Abraham's grandson, Jacob tricks his father and brother. Ano po ang ginawa ni Ano po ang ginawa ni Jacob? So mayroon siyang yung switching. Yung nangyari doon sa kay yung kay Rebecca. Yan, mayroong switching doon kay Esau and Jacob. Ayan, kaya ang nakatanggap ng blessing, alam natin na si Jacob at nagiging Israel later. Ayan, he has 12 sons. So Jacob has 12 sons, which the 12 tribes of Israel trace their lineage back to. So doon po sa kay Jacob nanggagaling ang tinatawag na 12 tribes. And then Joseph, Jacob's favorite son, who has prophetic dreams of greatness. He is also able to interpret other people's dreams. And his brothers sell him into slavery. Ano pong nangyari kay Joseph? Ibininta ng kanyang mga kapatid doon sa Egypt. And his brothers sell him into slavery, but through his God-given wisdom, he ascends to the position of second in command over all Egypt. Kung i-analyze natin, mali yung kanilang ginawa, mali yung ginawa ng kanyang mga kapatid dahil ibininta doon sa Egypt, pero ang si Joseph ay ginamit ng ating Panginoon at ano pong nangyari? Siya po ay second in command over all Egypt. Ayan, siya ay ginamit ng ating Panginoong instrument para ma-save ang kanyang mga brothers sa famine na kanilang na-encounter that time. How about covenant? A covenant is a solemn or binding agreement that makes two or more parties one. So ito yung ginawa ng ating Panginoon, nakipagtipan agreement doon kay Abraham. And a covenants usually involve promises. Kaya nga may maraming promises, conditions, yes. Maraming conditions, blessings for keeping the covenant. Paano kung ma-violate? Paano kung ma-violate yung binding agreements between two parties? So magkakaroon ng curse. Kaya ang curses for breaking it. So kung mayroong covenant ang Panginoon para sa mga Israelites at ito na may kanilang sinira, magkakaroon ng curse. Makakaranas sila ng curse. Genesis has a lot of these agreements, including God's covenant with the post-flood world in Genesis 9, 1-17. And his covenants with Abraham in Genesis 15 and Genesis 17. So, marami po na mga covenants kung sino yung kung kanino nakipagtipan ang Panginoon, doon lang ang kaniyang focus. Tayo ba na mga hintel ay mayroon bang agreement ang Panginoon sa atin under the Time Past program? Wala po. Kaya ang description sa atin ay strangers. Okay? Strangers. Dito sa Ephesians chapter number 2, verse 11 and 12, Ito yung description verse 11, wherefore remember that ye being in time past Gentiles in the flesh were called uncircumcisions by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands, that at the time ye were without Christ, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel and strangers from the covenants of promise. That time, strangers from the covenants of promise. Ang Panginoon mayroong covenants or nakipagtipan siya sa bayang Israel. So, ang mga hintel, wala po. Yan ang description natin. Kasi, ang Panginoon ay mayroon na siyang agreement. Kaya nakafocus lang siya sa covenant people. Kailan lang yung covenant na ito ay na-stop temporary nung inirebeld ng ating Panginoon ang dispensation of grace nung tinawag si Apostol Pablo na magiging apostol para sa mga hintel. So yung covenant program ng ating Panginoon ay unti-unting na-diminish. Pero kung titignan natin ay napakahabang panahon ng Panginoon ay nakipag-deal doon sa kanyang pinili. Sa kanyang piniling bayan, ang bayang Israel. Dahil mayroon siyang covenant. Mayroon siyang agreement sa kanila. Na kahit hindi sila sumunod, kahit gumawa sila ng labag sa utos ng ating Panginoon, since na ang Panginoon mayroong agreement, ay nakipag-deal pa rin siya at gamit ang mga iba pang mga instruction para sila'y sumunod. Kaya nga, mayroong 613 ibinigay ang Panginoon kay Moses para sa bayang Israel na dapat nilang sundin. Covenant is what moves the story forward. In Genesis, God promises the childless Abraham that he will be the father of nations and that his descendants will have a land and that the world will be blessed through them. So sa pamagitan ng Israel, ito yung pangako sa pamagitan ng Israel, ito yung covenant na ng Panginoon sa kanila, ito yung Mosaic Covenant, Abrahamic Covenant. Ganun ang ma-bless ang ibang bansa sa pamagitan ng Israel, ito yung Abrahamic Covenant, at ang culmination ay sa pagbabalik na ng ating Panginoon. Doon lang ma-fulfill or maganap ang covenant na ito pagbalik ng ating Panginoon para sa bayang Israel. So for 38 of Genesis and then 50 chapters, the story follows Abraham's family as God begins fulfilling the first part of that promise. And Abraham has 8 children who have children of their own, and so on and so forth. So the next 4 books tell the story of how these descendants become a nation and make their move toward claiming their promised land. So, ito po ay tumutukoy sa mga Israel or nation Israel. So kung pag-usapan natin yung blessing dito sa Genesis chapter 12, God promises to bless Abraham, bless his allies, curse his enemies, and eventually bless the world through him. In chapter 12, verses 1 to 3. Anong sinasabi doon sa Genesis? Ito po, sa chapter 12, 1 to 3. Now the Lord had said unto Abraham, Get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will shew thee, and I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing, and I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee, and in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. So, yan yung promise, covenant ng ating Panginoon kay Abraham. From this point on, God has a special relationship with Abraham and his family. Kaya start po dito, ang Panginoon ay nakipag-deal, ang kanyang dealings ay doon na lang sa family ni Abraham. Kaya the rest of Genesis, watches this promise unfold, and it involves a lot of people getting blessed. So the narrative of blessing is especially important when we get about halfway through the book, when Jacob inherits the blessing that God had given to Abraham and Isaac. This blessing was originally intended for Jacob's older brother Esau. Dapat ganun, di ba? But before another Cain and Abel situation takes place, Jacob escapes to a distant land where he starts a new life. And when Jacob returns, he wrestles with God who blesses him. How about the records and genealogies? A key repeated phrase in Genesis is this is the account of, or these are the records of. Ito yung mga paulit-ulit na mababasa natin, yung mga phrase. This is the account of, or these are the records of, and followed by either a bunch of names or bunch of stories. So in fact, this is pretty much all of Genesis. So the second chapter opens with the account of the heavens and the earth in chapter 2, verse 4. So nandoon yung kung pag-usapan natin ang genealogy, generation to generation ay meron sa book of Genesis. Then the book of Genesis swings us through a long series of sub-accounts. In chapter 5, verse 1, kaninong family ang pinag-usapan? Adam's family line. Dito po sa chapter 5, verse 1, this is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day that God created man, in the likeness of God made he him. And then in chapter 6, verse 9, Noah's family line. Verse 9, and these are the generations of Noah. And Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations. And Noah walked with God. How about in chapter 10, verse 1, the nations that stemmed from Noah's sons. Chapter 10, verse 1. Now, these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood. And then, chapter 11, verse 27, Abraham's family. Chapter 11, 27. Now, these are the generations of Terah. Terah begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran, and Haran begat Lot. So that's the Abraham's family. And then chapter 25 verse 12, Ismael's family. Chapter 25 verse 12. Now these are the generations of Ismael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar the Egyptian, Sarah's handmaid, bare unto Abraham. And then Isaac's family in chapter 25 verse 19. And these are the generations of Isaac. Abraham, son of Abraham, begat Isaac. And then Esau's family in chapter 36 verse 1. Chapter 36 verse 1. Now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. And then 37 verse 2, Jacob's family. 37 verse 2. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah, and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives, and Joseph brought unto his father their evil report. So ito yung mga patungkol sa mga family or lineage. Start from Adam, Adam's family line, Noah's family line, the yung family ng mga anak ni Noah, and then Abraham's family, Ismael's family, Isaac family, and Esau's family, hanggang doon kay Jacob's family. So habang binabasa natin yung regarding sa lineage, sa line from Adam. So as you read through Genesis, pay attention to these lines. They signal that the focus of the book is shifting from one family to another. Genesis is a collection of origin stories. These genealogies feel trivial to modern readers, but they give us a good idea of how the ancient Israelites thought about the countries surrounding them. So pag-usapan natin yung promised land. So one more important theme in Genesis, the land of Canaan. God promises that Abraham's descendants will possess that land in chapters 15, but this promise is not fulfilled until the book of Joshua. So doon na po, diba, yun yung pangako ng ating Panginoon, pero ito'y nabakante nung sila'y na-slave sa Egypt for 100 years. And then after 400 years, sila'y umalis sa Egypt, nag-travel sila ng 40 years papuntang Promised Land. At ito nga'y na-possess nila sa doon na sa Book of Joshua, ang detailed na explanation. Abraham wanders through Canaan, Isaac settles there, and Jacob eventually settles here too. However, at the ends of the book, the budding nation of Israel is dwelling as guests in Egypt. So the next 4 books of the Torah tell us how they make their way back to Canaan or Canaan. So ano ba ang context ng Genesis? Genesis is the first book of the Bible, but more importantly, it's the first book of the Torah. So the law of Moses. Genesis told that ancient Israelites that God had befriended their ancestors, promised them a land, and had a plan to bless the world through them. So ulitin ko po, paano mabe-bless ang ibang bansa? Ayon sa Genesis chapter 12, sa pamamagitan ng chosen people Israel. Sila ang channel of blessing. Sila ang gagamiting instrumento ng ating instrumento para ma-bless ang ibang bansa, ang bayang Israel. But the story of Genesis is really just the grand prologue to Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Together, these 5 books tell the story of how Israel became God's special nation. Yung 5 books na na-mention, kaya pagbabasahin nyo yung 5 books, more on nakafocus sa Israel dahil sila yung special people. Sila yung special people, peculiar people. Dito nga sa Exodus chapter 19 verse 5 and 6. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. O, diba? Sila ang tinatawag na special people. Na-mention sa first 5 books of the Bible. More on nakafocus lang po sa Israel. Genesis ends with Israel in Egypt as a special guest. But Exodus begins with Israel being enslaved by their host. Instead na guest, sila ay slave. Alipin. How many years? 400 years. Through the rest of the Torah, God rescues Israel from Egypt. God rescues Israel from Egypt and declares them to be His people and leads them through the wilderness to their promised land. O, ganun po ang ginawa na from Egypt to the promised land. Genesis explains how Israel came to be in Egypt in the first place, and why all the places on earth God lead the nation of Israel to that parts of land between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea. Diba yung nung sila'y na slave, na naalipin, after 400 years ay pinapunta sila doon sa promised land. Pangako ng Panginoon kay Abraham na yung lupain na ito, ang maninirahan ay ang kanyang pinili, or yung tinatawag na peculiar people. So yun yung plano ng ating Panginoon, at nung sila'y nakabalik or nakapunta doon sa promised land, ito'y dinivide. Okay? Yan po ay mapag-usapan natin pag doon na sa Book of Joshua. na dinivide ang land para sa kanyang pinili or ang bayang Israel. If we look beyond the Torah, and the stories in Genesis set the backdrop for vital theological principles in the rest of the Bible. In Genesis, we see that God has authority over the world, and we see that humans and other creatures and are in rebellion against God's order. So may mga mababasa tayo doon katulad ng serpent and then the Nephilim. We see the hints of God's plan to redeem His creation back to Himself. Bakit po? Anong nangyari na dahilan na i-redeem ng Panginoon ang kanyang nilikha dahil sa kasalanan? Genesis also introduces Abraham, the ancestor of Israel. Diba doon, malalaman din natin sa book of Genesis. Genesis also introduces Abraham, the ancestor of Israel, through whom the whole world will be blessed. Yan po ang original plan ng Panginoon na sa pamamagitan ng bayang Israel, ang buong mundo ay mabiyayaan. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob are the three chief patriarchs of the nation Israel, which gets its name from Jacob. So Jacob's son and grandson have their own families, which eventually become later on 12 tribes of Israel. So ito yung concern na ng ating Panginoon. Kaya nung dumating ang ating Panginoong Hesus, yun yung concern niya, ang bayang Israel. Yun yung concern niya, ang Israel. Kaya kung basahin natin yung sa Matthew 15:24, but he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And then yung pumili ang Panginoon ng 12 apostol, ang kanilang concern ganun pa rin. In chapter 10 ng Mateo 5-6, this 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. At pag ang Panginoon ay maghahari, ganun pa rin, to the 12 tribes of Israel in Mateo 19:28. 19:28, and Jesus said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regenerations, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. So more on nakafocus lang sa Israel. At pagdating doon sa new creation, sa new earth, New Jerusalem, Israel pa rin. Ito po, sa Revelation 21, verse 12-14, and had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and names written thereon, which are the names of what? The 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Dahil yun ang concern ng Panginoon from the start, from Genesis to Revelation, except Romans to Philemon, ang concern ng Panginoon ay Israel. 12 tribes of Israel. Okay? Kaya ang salvation nung dumating ang Panginoon sa Israel, manggagaling sa Israel dito sa John 4:22. Ye worship ye know not what we worship for salvation is of the Jews. Na kanino ang kaligtasan that time? Sa kanila lang. Okay? Sa kanila. Paano nung na-scattered sila? Ganun lang din nung na-scattered sila dahil sa kanilang pagsunod kay Kristo, at nung na-scattered sila nangaral, pero nung nangaral sila ay sa mga Jewish lang din. In Acts 11:19, now they which were scattered abroad upon the persecution that arose about Stephen traveled as far as Phoenicia, Cyprus, Antioch, preaching the word to none but unto the Jews only. O nakita niyo na yung pinaka-concern ng Panginoon nung ang Panginoon ay nakipag-agreement kay Abraham doon sa kanyang family, sa kanyang seed, tuloy-tuloy hanggang sa kanyang paghahari, hanggang doon sa New Earth and New Jerusalem. So ganun ang plano. Yun yung plano ng Panginoon, start kay Abraham. Pangako ng Panginoon at promise at covenants, start doon. Kay Abraham and then to his generation. Abraham believes God promises to him, and Abraham's faith is reckoned to be righteousness in Genesis 15:6. Diba? Sa Genesis chapter 15 verse number 6. And he believed in the Lord, and he counted it to him for righteousness. Then, that is, it satisfies God. And the concepts of righteousness by faith is repeated. So, na-mention din doon sa Romans 10:10. And Paul states that all who shares Abraham's faith are the spiritual children of Abraham in Galatians 3:6-9 in Christ. So, lahat ng naniniwala kay Kristo ay connected kay Abraham, pero indirectly. So, nagiging connected through Christ. Genesis sets forth several biblical themes that weave across the rest of the Bible. God's authority. God is the maker of all things, and He is sovereign over nature and humanity. We see His creative work in the first 2 chapters of Genesis, but we also see His sovereignty in choosing Abraham and blessing the Hebrews and protecting Egypt from famine. Man's rebellion. Adam and Eve disobeyed God in Eden, but that's only the beginning. Cain presents an unacceptable sacrifice. The world becomes violent in the days of Noah, and people construct the Tower of Babel, and so on and so forth. Ito yung signs of man's rebellion. Another, because of that rebellion, ay ang Panginoon nag-pronounce ng judgment. God evicts Adam and Eve. He sends a flood to destroy the earth, and He rains fire on Sodom and Gomorrah in Genesis 19. God is holy and sin must be punished. And God's preservation of life. God promises a descendant to Eve in Genesis 3:15. He saves Noah's family in an ark and he delivers Jacob from Esau's wrath, and he allows Egypt to survive a harsh famine through Joseph's wisdom. And then the blood sacrifice. In Genesis 3:21, God skins animals to cover Adam and Eve after they sin. And he provides ram for Abraham to take Isaac's place in Genesis 22. So the blood sacrifice becomes far more prominent in the book of Leviticus. Kung titignan natin yung overview dito po sa Genesis, Genesis can generally be broken into two large movements. It's one that beginning of a bigger story. So the first is the story of God's relationship with the world. The second is the origin story of God's relationship with Israel. Movement number one, God and humanity, mentioned in Genesis chapter 1 to chapter 11. And Genesis opens with God creating the heavens and the earth, so the stars, the plants, the animals, the humans, and Adam and Eve. God places Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, but they rebel against God, introducing a curse of sin and death to the world. Ang ganda na nga yung kanilang sitwasyon that time, pero sila din ay nagrebelde sa ating Panginoon, introducing a curse of sin and death to the world. And Adam and Eve have children, including Cain and Abel. And those children have children. Eventually, the world becomes so violent that God sends a great flood to destroy the world, but he spares the only righteous man, Noah. And Noah builds his famous ark to escape the flood waters with his family and many animals. And after the waters recede, God promises to never again destroy the earth with flood. And this movement culminates with the strange story of the Tower of Babel. So the people of the earth come together to make a great city and name for themselves. At this time, God and divine beings with him scatter the people of earth by confusing their languages and setting up different nations. According to Genesis chapter 11 and Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 8. How about the movement number 2, God and Israel? Act 1, Abraham and Isaac. In Genesis 12 to 24, hundreds of years later, God calls Noah's descendants, Abraham, to leave his family and journey to the land of Canaan. God promises to bless Abraham with many descendants and to bless all the nations of the world through him. And Abraham believes God's promise, and even though he is old and childless, God considers him to be righteous and changed his name from what? From Abraham to Abraham. And later, Abraham has a son, Isaac. Act number 2. Isaac, in Genesis 25 to 27, Isaac dwells in the land of Canaan and has twin sons, Jacob and Esau. Jacob grows up, tricks Esau into giving away his blessing, and Esau's not too happy about this. Act number 3, Jacob and Israel, or in Genesis 28 to 36. Jacob then leaves town to live with his uncle. He marries, has 13 children, and lives with his uncle for 20 years before God calls him back to Canaan. As Jacob returns to the land of Abraham and Isaac, his name is changed to Israel, according to Genesis 35, verses 9 to 12. Act number 4, Joseph. In Genesis chapter 37 to 50, of Jacob's 12 sons and 1 daughter, Joseph is his favorite. Joseph's brothers sell him into slavery and he becomes a prisoner in Egypt. His God-given ability to interpret dreams becomes valuable to the Pharaoh. However, and so Joseph he is released from prison and made second in command of all Egypt. And Joseph warns Pharaoh that a terrible famine is coming and stockpiles food for the coming years. And Joseph's predictions are correct. So the famine reaches Canaan and his brothers come to Egypt to buy food. So the brothers reconcile. Diba? Later on sila nag-reconcile and Joseph provides for all the children of Israel to move to Egypt until the famine is over. So the book of Genesis ends with the death of Joseph, whose last prediction is that God will bring the children of Israel back to the promised land. Kaya after the death of Joseph, natupad yung kanyang prediction, bumalik sila sa promised land. God begins fulfilling this in the next movement of the story, the book of Exodus. So doon po natin, malalaman din kung ano ang nangyayari sa bayang Israel after slavery nung sila'y nag-travel papuntang promised land. Okay? So hanggang dito lang yung patungkol sa book of Genesis.